We're all told the same thing growing up. A good education is your ticket to a successful life. But what if that's not the whole story? What if, for some of the world's most successful people, the real first step was dropping out? Let's dig into this incredible puzzle. I mean, think about these names for a second. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Gautam Adani. These guys built absolute empires. Microsoft, Facebook, the Adani Group. They didn't just become successful, they literally shaped the world we live in today. So, besides the obvious, incredible wealth and genius-level innovation, what's the one surprising thing that ties them all together? What could it possibly be? Yep, you guessed it. They all dropped out. They broke free from a system that millions of us trust to build our futures, only to find ourselves stuck in what we're calling the education trap. And then you have the flip side of that coin. This is a real quote from a student with multiple postgraduate degrees who said, "I have been studying for the last 12 years, and I have achieved nothing." This huge gap between the dropouts who succeed and the graduates who feel lost, well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. So how on earth did we get here? To really understand this trap, we have to go way back to the beginning. And I'm telling you, the origin story of our modern school system is probably not at all what you think it is. It's a really important question, right? Because if you want to figure out why something feels broken, you've got to understand what it was designed to do in the first place. Believe it or not, our story starts on a battlefield. It's 1806, and Napoleon's army just crushes the mighty Prussians. The Prussian leaders looked at the defeat and came to a shocking conclusion. Their soldiers were losing because they were thinking for themselves, instead of just following orders. Their solution? It wasn't better weapons, it was a whole new kind of school. And that's when the Prussian education system was born. This was an 8-year mandatory program, but its main goal wasn't to enlighten students or spark creativity. No, it was designed for one thing: control. And get this, they weren't even subtle about it. The stated purpose, and I'm quoting directly here, was to produce a cadre of mindless, obedient soldiers who would follow orders without a single question. This became the blueprint for public education all over the world. Now, it turns out this system for creating obedient people was useful for more than just armies. As the world was changing dramatically, this educational model became the perfect tool to fuel a whole new economic engine. Right around the same time, the Industrial Revolution was exploding. The entire economy was flipping upside down, moving away from small farms and local artisans towards massive factories and mass production. This created a completely new need in society. See, these new factories didn't need creative thinkers or independent craftspeople. They needed a massive supply of workers who would show up on time, do the same boring task over and over again, and never question the boss. The Prussian school system was the perfect machine to produce them. And of course, this idea went global. The British Empire saw how powerful this tool could be for running its colonies. So in 1835, they brought a very similar system to India, but they had their own specific goal in mind. And if you want to know what that goal was, just listen to the guy who designed it, Lord Macaulay. He said the point was to create a class of people who were Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. It was never about empowerment. It was about creating loyal clerks to run the empire. Okay, so that's the history. A system designed to create obedient soldiers and factory workers. But that was then. Let's fast forward to today and see how this old conveyor belt is working out for people right now. It's so easy to just write this off as ancient history, but the DNA of that old system is still everywhere. It's in our classrooms, our workplaces, and even in our own ideas about what it means to be successful. The real question is, does it still make sense for the world we live in? Well, let's look at the numbers. They tell a pretty scary story. In India today, a staggering 42% of graduates under the age of 25 are unemployed. Just let that sink in for a moment. Nearly half the young people who played by the rules and got their degree can't find a job. And what about those who do get a job? Well, the value of that degree is questionable. This comparison is pretty wild. A truck driver in the United States can earn up to 10 times more than an engineer in India. That tells you a lot about the real-world demand for the skills this system produces. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but that's just for average schools. Wrong. The problem goes right to the very top. Even at the legendary IITs, the absolute best engineering schools in the country, huge numbers of students aren't getting placed. We're talking up to 40% at IIT Delhi. The so-called guaranteed path to success is clearly breaking down. So what we have is an outdated system that isn't keeping its promises and is failing millions. It all sounds pretty bleak, I know. But here's the good news. There is a way out. It just requires a totally new way of thinking about what learning and success actually mean. This is the key. The world has changed. The demand for obedient cogs in a machine is dying. The new economy rewards creators, critical thinkers, and people who can solve complex problems. You know, the exact skills the old system was designed to stamp out. So for parents, this means you've got to change the rules of the game. Stop focusing so much on marks and start focusing on actual learning. Encourage your kids to explore everything, the world outside their textbooks. Help them build real-world skills, not just memorize theories for a test. And if you're the one caught in this system, it's time to take control. You can learn incredibly valuable skills online right now. Think about taking a discovery year, not to study for another exam, but to actually build something, explore a passion. And maybe the biggest shift of all, change your goal from getting a job to becoming self-dependent. And always, always keep asking, who built this system and why? In the end, it really comes down to this one question. Do you follow the safe, predictable path that was designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore? A path that's stable, maybe, but likely average? Or do you take a risk, forge your own path, and build a life that's truly remarkable? The trap has been laid out for you. The choice to escape is yours.